A few years ago at CES, I got a chance to check out an entire boat on the show floor. But today we're checking out a slightly different kind of vehicle with this, which is the new Pebble Flow. And it's a new generation of EV RVs. So what does that actually mean? Well, the first is that it's an EV kind of on its own because it's all electric and it has a 45 kilowatt hour battery inside. But on top of that, you can also equip it with an optional motor that allows for a self-propulsion system, which works with your EV that's going to be towing it. And that's what it really means to be an EV RV, because it's designed to kind of adjust to the differences in style and transportation that EVs bring. So say you have a normal EV and you're going to get about 300 miles of range. But anytime you're towing something, obviously that range gets cut in half or more. So you're looking at a significantly lower range. But with this self-propulsion system, suddenly you're not looking at nearly as big of a drop. So instead of going from 300 miles to about 100 miles, maybe you're going from 300 miles to 200 or 250. And that's a really big deal because not only do you have longer range, it also means you don't have to stop as much to refuel, or I guess recharge in this case. So let's talk about charging first. Like we said before, this thing comes with a 45 kilowatt hour battery. But if you'll notice, it actually has two plugs down here. We have your CCS adapter right here, which is going to use to recharge the EV itself. And then over here, we have a NEMA 1450 plug. And that's really cool because the Pebble Flow comes with a vehicle to load feature, which means you can use it to power other devices, or you can even hook up to your house and keep the lights on if you lose power during a storm or something like that. Or you could just lend some spare power to one of your other RV friends that might be in need of a little juice. And then when it comes to recharging, the Pebble Flow has level 1, 2, and 3 DC fast charging, which the company says should allow the RV to go from about 0 to 80% in about an hour. And then over here we have another door that we can't open, and that holds the outlets for the 37-gallon freshwater tank and then the 50-gallon black and gray wastewater tank. Now, really quickly, before we go inside, I also want to talk about the hitch because it kind of plays into the whole EV-ness of the Pebble Flow. That's because on top of that self-propulsion system, it also has the ability to kind of self-park and auto-hitch itself. And then on the inside, it's powered by an NVIDIA Drive Orin computer, so you get a lot of smarts to go along with that electrification. So now here we are at the door. As you can see, we have a nice pop-out window for the kitchen. And there's also, you can't see it on this model, there is an optional awning as well that can be controlled via the Pebble's tablet inside. So enough about that, let's jump inside. So the first thing you notice when you step inside is this tablet, and this is where you control pretty much all of the Pebble Flow's functions from, and it's just really nice because they're all located in one central place. That said, like a lot of good modern gadgets, there's also a mobile app, so you can control pretty much all of the RV's functions from your phone as well. Now, one thing I really appreciate is that for standard stuff like temperature control, lighting, and whatnot, you can just tap and do what you need. But for more sophisticated features like that magic hitch option, which you probably don't want to just activate willy-nilly, you are going to require some sort of biometric authentication or a password, so it doesn't just start moving on its own, which is obviously really good if you got children or toddlers running around and you don't want them messing it up by accident. Now let's move over to the living space, which is right here. So here we are in the living room, and as you can see, I've got plenty of space. The Pebble Flow is designed for a family of 4, and look, it's actually pretty roomy. I'm about 6 feet tall, and I'm having no issues with, having personal space. And there's, like I said, there's plenty of room for a family of 4. Now, obviously, with 4 people kind of cramped in about 150 square foot, which is, what you get on the interior of the Pebble Flow, this space also has to pull double duty. So at night, when you want, to find somewhere for the kids to sleep, there's a better place for the parents. We'll check that out later. You can lower this table and then kind of move these cushions around, and then suddenly you have a pretty good sized bed for 1 or 2 kids, or some friends you don't like very much. So now we're in the kitchen, and before we get to all the features, I gotta say, I really like the interior design of the Pebble Flow. It's modern and really minimalistic, but without being, too sci-fi, so it still feels really comfortable. Okay, so now right here we have tons of storage and nice handy lockable latches right here. You have a 4-in-1 microwave, convection oven, and air fryer. It's super handy to have. And then over here we have a pretty good sized kitchen. This actually might be a tiny bit bigger than my last apartment. So look, it's not a huge RV, but you still have a ton of space to work with. Now, a couple cool features in here. You got a pretty decent sized sink, faucet right here, and the faucet can spin around. So if you're, outside and you're dirty and you want to wash your hands, you can do that without dragging all your crap inside the RV. And you can spin this around. And then over here, we have 2-burner induction stove. And what's really cool is that you can also just completely lift it out. So if you, and there's a little cord in there, so if you want to do some cooking outside and the weather's good, that's an option as well. And now here we have the bathroom. Now, you have that same really sleek minimalist styling, and it looks awesome, but you're probably wondering, well, what's the deal? This is all glass. This is the bathroom. You probably don't want to be, broadcasting whatever you're doing in there to the rest of the family or any guests you have. So there's a clever solution to that. If we're going to go in here, and I can press the button, voila, suddenly opaque. And that's because the Pebble Flow is using electrochromic glass right here, which can go from clear to opaque with just a touch of a button. Now, another little detail that I really appreciate is that the opaqueness or the see-throughness of the glass is the one function that you cannot control from the tablet or your phone because, hey, you're in there, you want your privacy, you don't want people messing with you, so they've got to wait till you come out and then, you can do your business. And then now here we are in the bedroom, except that it doesn't really look like a bedroom right now, does it? And that's kind of on purpose, because as you can see here, we have a really nice working space. You could have 2, even 3 people, doing school or, working from remotely. Right now they have a projector set up in here that does not come with the RV. You're not going to do it yourself. But you're probably asking, where's the bed? Easy. So if I walk forward, I don't want to get myself crushed, I can just pull down on here and it kind of automatically reveals itself, and suddenly we have a nice queen-size bed. Now, 2 other details that I really appreciate is that there are dual outlets on either side of the bed, because it's really important to get your phone or your tablet charged up at night, and you don't have to fight about who's sharing whose outlets. On top here, you have even more storage, obviously lockable. You can do all sorts of stuff. This one is set up as a pantry right here, but like I said, you have a lot of hidden storage, and pretty much everything pulls double duty in this RV. Oh, and before we go back outside, I forgot to mention, there's also a pretty big fridge in here. So plenty of room for all your drinks and snacks. Kind of want one right now. Now, before we wrap this up, I do have to mention a couple of features that we didn't see. First, there is a 1 kilowatt solar panel up top, which should work together with the Pebble Flow's included battery to help keep the thing going for about a week. There's also a really cool one-touch Insta Camping button that'll do stuff like deploy that optional awning, deploy the stairs, and use the auto-leveling stabilizers. So once you pull up to a campsite, you press that button, and that's it, you're done. Not a ton of work to do. For me, what I really like is just the simple design of it. It's really sleek, it's really modern, but without being too in your face about it. But on top of that, it's an EV RV that is not only fully electrified, it also helps to really get the most out of your EV tow vehicle because it has its own battery and it has that optional self-propulsion system. So that's really cool. On top of that, Pebble expects to ship the Pebble Flow before the end of the year. And with prices starting at $109,000 for the base model or $125,000 for the model with the optional self-propulsion system, it's not cheap, but for something that can really help you maximize your EV, I think this is kind of a little peek at the future of where RVs are going. That's it for us right now from the show floor at CES 2024. For more things about everything we saw this week, stay tuned to Engadget. And as always, don't forget to come back to us on YouTube for more news, videos, and hands-ons.